Hello there, welcome to another Parkinson's Walks Friday vlog. Like I'm misfiring already by the sound of that. No studio one today, we're indoors as you can see. It's blowing a bit of a hoolie out there at the moment. So we're carrying on from in here in the warm and the dry. Now, we normally kick off with any other business where we no we don't, we start off with matters arising. You can tell the standard of this video already, can't you? We're only a minute in. Oh well, never mind. Right, we're only going to matters arising where we look at the last two films. But, the way things are going on this channel, I thought we ought to do a sick parade first because there's all sorts going on. I don't know what's happening with you out there, I really don't. We got Michael's recovering from a minor op on his kidney. Well, I say a minor op. I don't know if there are any minor ops on kidneys. He's had a tumour removed from his last remaining kidney. We got David down in Spain who's got a kidney stone, which they're looking at various ways to get rid of it, I think, and not succeeding at the moment. We've got Debs who's on, hopefully now, her 8-week chemo break. So happier about that, I imagine. We got Marilyn. Marilyn's jumped in on the act here. She's got a bad back. And now Sid the dog, even the canines are in on this. Sid the dog has got a bad tail. And now of course James over there in Canada, who didn't like to miss out on anything, does James, and so he's gone and fallen off his bike. Well, I say fallen off his bike, he was actually knocked off his bike. Let me read you the sad tale. Biking home Tuesday afternoon, he says. I stopped at a four-way stop. Now you've got to concentrate now, are you ready? I let the car to the left and the car to the right go before I entered the intersection to go straight. Are you with me still? Right, and to go straight, got that far. To my right, another car stopped, and then with me now right in front of him, in the middle of the intersection, he started up and hit me, and I went flying through the air on my bike before coming down on the road. Ooh, painful, painful, painful. But thankfully, James hasn't got any serious broken bones, but he's got aches and pains as you probably would expect. But hopefully nothing too serious, which means that we can still take the mickey out of him and do it with an easy conscience. I mean, we would have taken the mickey out of him anyway, but there you go, poor old James. Get well soon, old son. Barry, he says, commiserations with James. Oh, Barry, don't start him off, don't start him off. Junctions seem to be a hazard nowadays with people not understanding rights of way. And Padstow said, like another world, I understand why you like it. Yeah, we're into the film, which was billed as Morning in Padstow. Actually, it was more Morning in North Cornwall, but anyway. Had a good look around there. Trev comes on. Good evening, Ron. Evening, it's generally good morning, it's a good evening. And all the Parkinson Walks family. Sorry to have been a bit quiet lately, but I'm back now. No groaning in the back, please. You know, I've been backpacking the West Highland Way in Scotland, where I can actually wild camp legally for a change. Blimey, that's where you camp with no facilities whatsoever. You find a spot and pitch your tent. Oh, well done you, Trev. Donny, beautiful film of Kernow, which made my coffee taste extra special today. I hope you don't mind, I took some screenshots of the blue sea and golden sand that I can look at to keep me going through the depths of the approaching winter. I have no objection whatsoever. I think it's an honour, to be honest. If you think it's good enough to copy, you carry on. And anybody else that wants to as well. David from Spain. Ah, yeah. Seeing those wide sandy beaches at low tide always reminds me of building ponds with my dad. We'd start off quite small, but then we would get canal fever And start bringing in feeding branches. We've all done that, haven't we? Out there, either with your parents or with your children. A little bit of hydraulic engineering out on the beach. Lovely. He said, I'm on cloud watch down here. That's in Spain. Over the last few days we've had some spectacular cloud formations over the hills. Lenticular clouds or flying saucers. I know those. Blobs in a line. Yeah. Brilliant. Well done. He says you have a very short window of time to get to the photographs before they change. Just grey sky at the moment. Well done, David. Pete Payne. He says there's some nice pictures there. I was out and about early with the dogs. That's Sid plus one then this morning. And it was gorgeous out on the hills at Ivinghoe Beacon. Low level mist, bright clear skies and stunning views. What could be better? Yeah. Lifts your spirits, doesn't it? Brilliant. Rodney Masters. Good morning, he says. That was so good. The Padstow Tourist Board will be hoping to sign you up. If only. Engage on a shelf. I always pop into Gloucester Cathedral, eh? Simon always manages to get something in a week behind the rest of us. Well done. He said, I always pop into Gloucester Cathedral also. I once went there as a telephone engineer. Oh. The lines come into the crypt and tend to turn green with the high water table. I fixed that and then asked where the telephone was. Across the other side is a small door and a very steep staircase into a very large room, paintings, tapestries and 1,000-year-old books. Wow, what a privilege to go in there. He says, I wonder if you were around when they were first printed. Yeah, don't you remember, Simon? We were sat side by side. West Country Wanderings. Paul. Great scenes from Padstow with super Cornish choral music. My last day in Devon today. Yeah, Paul, he's always on the move, always taking photographs. Brilliant. Up early and packing. I want to film a Lost Railway before I go back up the M5. He keeps them rolling, doesn't he, Paul? Michael from Poland. Good morning. Greetings from Poland. Back home on Thursday evening, having spent 6 days in Pulaski Hospital in Warsaw, having surgery to remove a small tumour on my right and remaining kidney. I feel very well and will start English conversation classes at 9:30 this morning. Yeah, Michael takes the classes there. Wow, up and about. You're a tough one, Michael, for sure. Great to hear from so many Parkinson walks, family members from around the world. Yep, isn't it just? Yes, if you're out and about, why not let us know where you come from? We can include everybody. It's not a problem. The film from Padstow was wonderful. Despite the grey morning here, the film made me feel good to be alive. Wow. Wow, what a privilege that is. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Jim Nichols, from down there in New Zealand. Some lovely photos there. Ronnie says, a good slideshow can give as good a feeling of a place as a video does sometimes. Yeah, there was a time before I started videoing when I was contemplating doing just slides. Yeah, never got round to that. Now, film, Broadway, the Gloucester and Warwickshire Steam Railway station at Broadway, fairly new, fairly recently opened. Pete Payne. What a lovely job they made of rebuilding. So nice to see. Luckily the pine trees were not removed. The GWR really like their pines. I wonder what was the reason. Yeah, an awful lot all around the country of GWR stations, you notice they have pine trees planted there, which I'm sure I once read that it was there to protect the passengers from the weather, but if you look at the situation, I can't imagine that's true. Anybody know why they had their pine trees, or they love their pine trees? Let us know in the comments, please. Poor Sid has a poorly tail. Seems he's overdone the wagging. Oh dear. Poor old Sid. Mo liked the bits and pieces around Broadway. Characteristic of the past, he said. The clocks, the GWR scripts on the bench ends, and the many signs now long gone elsewhere. And the locomotive was so beautiful. A credit to those who look after it, wouldn't it just? Yeah. Through your videos we can see and hear the magic of the past, but you have an advantage over us when you film. You can smell the steam. Yes. Yes, wonder if we could have smells on video as well. I dare say we will one day. Gorgeous. Marilyn, good evening, Ron. Another good evening here. Ron, I hope everyone in our worldwide family is doing well. Well, most of us seem to be, Marilyn, but there are some that are falling apart, I'm afraid. She says it was lovely to see Broadway Station on a beautiful day. It really is perfect there. Unfortunately, it's just a little bit out of reach for the elder sister from here. Yeah, I'm up in Cheshire. That would be a heck of a step, wouldn't it? If only it was linked to Cheltenham still. No troubles this week as the elderly back is playing up. That's the result of falling down steps, I expect. Did you get told off by your daughter, Marilyn? Poor old Marilyn. They're suffering and you have to be told off at the same time. Trev. I can't imagine what a daunting task it must have been to start off with a piece of waste ground and build a station on it. Yes, that was fortuitous finding those photographs of the site before they started. Amazing. The new station, although very authentic, needs a few seasons now to weather to really look the part. We're on a similar subject going back a while, weren't we, where the engines on these heritage lines tend to be absolutely immaculate, which of course in real life they wouldn't have been. It'd have been a bit grubbier than that, and so it is with the station. But I dare say they're so proud of it they'll keep it looking spick and span. I would think, anyway, Trev goes on to say, it did make the hairs on the back of my neck stand up a bit when I saw one of our beautiful southern region rebuilt Merchant Navy Pacifics on GWR metals. And then Trev being Trev. Has to be controversial. Explains why they're going to use southern locomotives on a GWR line. And he also goes and gives us lots of information on Broadway, as is his normal one. So if you want to know a little bit more about the operations there, go and read Trev's comment. Brilliant. West Country, Wanderings, our Paul. It's incredible what the GWSR volunteers have achieved here in such a relatively short time. They were building on the other platform at Broadway Station when I was there a few weeks ago. So they love to keep going, don't they? They love to keep busy. So I wonder what they're going to put over there. Some sort of shelter, no doubt. Yeah. Paul's just done an upload to his channel on a visit he did to Swindon Museum, Steam Museum. And he's done it all in monochrome and it really came out well, I thought. Yeah, more on that later. Lionel and Mary, good morning, Ron. You have to admit that the Merchant Navy class are wonderful locomotives. They come from my area of the country, so I might be a little biased. Yes, you might. Yeah, true, Lionel. True. Peter Curtis, such a beautiful day, he said. Fantastic to see the absolutely outstanding work the GWSR volunteers achieved in completing an almost perfect replica of the original station. Yeah, that again, looking at those old photographs enabled you to sort of compare the two. Brilliant, brilliant. David, Spain. Really enjoy getting up close to see those linkages coming out of the signal box and on the engines too. Good. They've done a truly amazing job. Some skilled brickwork one show. So now we've moved on a week from David's last report, and he says we've been up in the clouds these last few days. Some rain at long last. Are you sure to rain, David? Because if you are, you can have some of ours. By all means. Yes. And we've even got some snow higher up, although I can't see it from down here at the moment. So winter's really setting in and the snows have started down there in Spain. Ooh. Malcolm Richardson. A magnificent fir tree drive up to the superbly rebuilt Broadway station, which should surely qualify for an architectural award. Well, no one's going to argue with that, I don't think. Let's hope that the posters announcing trips to Stratford and beyond will one day be for real. Yeah, it relies on it joining up to Honeybourne, doesn't it? From Honeybourne to Broadway. And I understand Network Rail are very keen to sell them that area of track, because it's got, I think, 7 bridges on it, of which probably most of them need some sort of, well, major renovation work. So Network Rail would love to get rid of it, but I think the GWSR are being a bit canny about it. I don't blame them. Engage on a shelf. What a wonderful restored Merchant Navy class, he says. So he loves his Merchant Navy class as well. I learn something new about you all the time. I never knew you'd been on Broadway. What show were you in? No, you'll work it out. Rick, I was there a few weeks ago. His head started from Winchcombe. An added highlight was catching a Route Master bus into Broadway. Not sure it would have got under that bridge had the driver forgotten to turn right into the station. Yeah, if it's busy enough, they got an old Route Master bus which you can ride on into Broadway. It's a bit of a step. It's probably 3/4 of a mile, I suppose. So you can go by bus if you want, which is an absolutely brilliant way of getting there, I reckon. But yes, the station, the bridge there has had so many strikes, and strangely enough, by local people. It makes you wonder. Barry! The restored station demonstrated the original practicality of the station design. The interview with John, the driver, John was a stroke of genius. I never knew that stopping a steam train in the right place was such an art. It must have justified the higher pay to the train drivers. Yeah, good old John. I thought he was wonderful. He must have known he was being filmed at the start and didn't object and kept going. Thanks, John. Thank you very much for that. Right, Michael from Poland. Morning greetings from Poland. Today you've made my day. Well, that doesn't happen very often, Michael. That's brilliant. Good. What a wonderful video, he says. From no station at all to the beauty we see today. My dear friend, Clive Groom, who ran footplate days and ways, teaching whoever wanted to learn how to drive a steam locomotive and running courses on the Bluebell Railway. His favourite loco to drive of all time was the P&O line, and there it was. Good, lovely. Pleased about that, Michael. Charles from the US of A. The Merchant Navy class locomotive was beautiful. I'm exceptionally partial to that colour green. For the most part, our American steamers were more brutish in their plain black, unpolished skins. Yeah, I'd never thought of that before, to be honest, but you're right. I wonder why that is, why they didn't have company liveries. Perhaps there weren't enough of them. Interesting, Charles, interesting. Right, the girls, Railway Christina. Really hope the line reaches Honeybourne. Main line connection is always a bonus for attracting more visitors, as with East Grinstead, Matlock and Duffield. Sublime, we're getting to the end, I'm misfiring here. Sublime GWR architecture, those wrought iron benches that signal the lamp, lovely, she says. And Sharon Idle has popped in. Well done, Sharon. I'm trying to find out what's happening about the book that she was getting published, or doing her best to get published. She's not come back to me yet. Thank you for sharing that film, Ron. She says, I've always been intended to go there, but not got around to it yet. When they extend to Honeybourne, I'll have no excuse remaining for inaction. Yeah, you might have a bit of a wait, it's the only problem, Sharon. Right, and Jim finishes us off today. Jim Nichols from New Zealand, looking good, Ronnie says, and your interview with the driver was an added touch. Yeah, thank you, John. Right, okay. The archive film in a few seconds' time is Swindon STEAM, a visit that I did to Swindon STEAM. So you can look at pause and you can look at that one. You can see the difference between still photography and video photography and make your mind up. We'll run that in a few seconds' time. Now, next week, an experiment. Church. I've got a film on Leckhampton Church, which is just outside Cheltenham, and it's all quite interesting. Now, churches are easy to film because generally there's parking outside. They're all contained in one small area, so they're perfect for Parkinson's sufferers. Yeah, let's go with that, like myself. But of course, if no one's going to watch them, then not much point really. So let's see how we get on with this one, see what you think. I know anything to do with railways goes well. Let's see what happens with churches. I suspect it might be a bit quiet. Never mind. So I'll be waiting at Leckhampton Church next Friday, don't be late. Entrance to the Old Swindon Works. Tea break over. That was in the National Trust Helix. Sounds like we've got some building going on here somewhere. It's actually a chiller unit. And that's the objective for today. Steam Museum. Mr. Brunel. Look at the offices. All the latest equipment.
No concern of mine, Garvey. We're here to run a railway. What kind of service would we have if everyone had your attitude, Garvey? Answer me that.
Oh dear.
Yeah, you see.
Oops.
Everyone else can get in here on time, and so can you.
And of course the stores. Brooms to buckets to rope. Anything you like. Part of the foundry. Working hard.
I had to translate the mechanical drawings and blueprints from the island report of
Selection of joints. Oh dear. crank shaft. A red hot rivet of boiler works. This is actually engine 4248, rescued from Barry for the museum. Originally built in Swindon, of course. A serious bit of lifting gear. Caerphilly Castle, built in 1923. That was before Mallard came on the scene. That's the leading bogie. The driving wheels. And the cab and the tender. Everything well polished up there. That's the tender wheels, must have rattled over the rails at some time. And the rear view. The brake block and levers. Each component has the engine number on it. And that is a work of art. It's a sliding block which would have gone up and down there at a fair old rate. After the pistons. Right, down to the oily bits. That's where the bogie attaches. Part of it's springy and the suspension, I suppose. And that is the brake mechanism. You might make out that's where it attaches to the wheels. That's the crank. That's looking the other way with the connecting rods. Just make out the huge weight springs. And up there, the axle and the vacuum brake unit. And farther back, brakes, pipes, everything. The complicated bits. And that is the scoop for the water pickup. We picked it up from a trough on the run. And that's actually fitted to the tender. There's the wheels on the flange. Yeah, very good. There's Mr. Brunel to meet us. Morning. You see, he's not very talkative. There's a picture of building around wooden scaffolding. No wonder it took so long. Broad gauge locomotive, North Star. Built in 1837. Damn birds everywhere. That's an early signal. Not quite sure how you work that out. That's an old one. Train operator. Something of a masterpiece, this thing. Whereas that looks straightforward. Wire inside, I guess. Yeah, there's the crank. A point signal, I think. With a counterweight. And this is a broad gauge disc and crossbar signal.
In common, most architecture is planes.
Well, that's what it says on there. And that's broad gauge as well, called a fantail. Doesn't get a lot simpler. That's more like it. Right. Small bridge loco, built in Swindon in 1897, worked most of his life in South Wales, withdrawn 1950. Comes complete with driver, and that's his domain. There's the joint between the tender and the locomotive. Water level. Regulator. Past there is the brake. Alright, he's not getting on very well. He was doing that last time I was here. Various lamps. Yeah, of course we are.
Like some of the controls you will find in front of you. The long red lever in the middle of the border is the regulator. While we are in the station, it should be pointing to the shut position, that is pointing down.
I told you this is easy. Wish I'd stop doing that. Nothing to it. mate, you've got work to do.
You that a raw train is approaching.
With this, they allow you to actually move signals on a display. Allows you to see whether you could successfully work a signal box.
At refuge points towards you.
At least if you get it wrong, nobody gets killed. Although you might get sent to the tower.
I am the signalman. If you want to help me operate the signals, pull the yellow lever to the centre and then push it back again.
Okay, that looks good. Alright, have a look out there. Nice tank engine. He looks a bit worried.
Fast bulk deliveries within the UK. Rail freight could never match the door-to-door speed and economy of the lorry. In 1963, the Beeching found a massive overcapacity in the rail freight industry and saw the closure of
The guards fan. Complete with brake. A bit too dark in there. Right, good section. Not sure about the woolies. Bit more livestock. Don't stand there talking all day, guys. Look, we've got all this to move yet. Still at it. One link fails and disaster. No brakes on it. Old Scammell. Got a quick release fifth wheel coupling there. Operated by the lever at the top. Some of their alphabet's slightly suspect. That's looking out over the main line towards Swindon town. Some of the old works there. St Mary's Church. That's a sawmill. To the left of that used to be a fitting shop. And the water tower was built in 1872. I think it's now a scheduled monument. Managed to miss that. Not to worry. And over the old fitting shop you can see the town centre. This gives us a chance to look at our next destination, which is the station layout. A few engines in there, including I think down the end a rail car. That's the old goods area where we've just come from. There's Caerphilly Castle through the glass. Gives you a chance to see some brickwork, the old building, big stone lintel there. It's only bricks, but it's quite fascinating, a lot of history. The station, fine old railings here in the foreground. I won't include us today. Lodestar. Booking office. I'll have a look in there. Hard at work? Yeah, I'll have that one, the 1015. Insure your luggage. Oh, take care of it really, didn't they? That's from the ticket office to the waiting rooms. I think. No, it's refreshments. It didn't look quite that good in my day. Yeah, that's more like it. I bet they're still for sale. Passengers off to sunny climes, we hope. I hope these are mannequins. Right, let's have a look at this. Wow, I guess slightly cleaner than it might have been in its day. That'll be the brake. Regulator. I think I run out about there. Various valves, brake pressures, boiler pressure, tight tube for the boiler level, and because it's GWR, driven from the right hand side. That'll be the tender water level.
Where they are up there, just to see.
and that's to lower the scoop. Well, he has been waiting a long time. He was here last year. That's still the Lodestar.
Vedi, ricominciamo già che parli qui.
Somebody's left their bike. Last quick look at the station. It's a good setup. Next engine. It's easy walking through here, seeing the exhibits, to miss the actual building. Machine Shop R. Lots of fan lights, I suppose you call it. Natural light, saves money. Great iron pillars everywhere. Built to last. Both the fact it's still here proves that. Right, next, Ditcheat Manor. Controls again, a bit more of a working model this one I think, rather than a showpiece. Driver's eye view, used to adjust the piston length, giving more speed or less speed or a little bit more oomph. That is a very complicated valve gear. Sound advice. And the tender. Slope to bring the cold here. There we go. Right, we'll have a look at that. Passenger accommodation. Beautiful woodwork. I think that's meant to represent the Queen, Queen Vic. Looks like she'd have one too many. Even the floor's good in here. Fan lighting again. This is indeed the Royal Coach. $1897. Wow. She had some nice prints to look at. Buffet car. Some detail of the connection between the carriages. More complicated than you think. A bit of suspension, I think. And a locking hasp. Right. Have a look. Wowee. British Rail tea providers. To tempt you with the sandwiches. That's why you can see all the ends curling up through there. It's all got glass. Splendid. Seats, drinks, food, everything. I think the fellow in the next carriage looks a bit envious. He's in the rail car. revolutionary in its day. Back to our Cornwall friend here. But she doesn't approve of the smoking. You can just tell, can't you? It's quite luxurious. Nice buffet arrangements. Number 4. Yeah, I wish. A few film displays. Good old days. So they tell us. Well, I'm not sure that looks any more attractive. No, not her, the traffic jam. Right, this is the exit hall. Shows some of the finer points of the building. Still the machine shop, I think. That concludes the railway museum visit. So we can poke our nose through a few of the buildings. That's the traverser there, used for carrying engines through the repair shops. And have a look in the shopping centre so we can pick up some of the old building places. This is all part of what used to be the Swindon Works. It's a shopping mall through there. Works whistles. That's a nice touch. Original roof. Nice detail. Certainly attractive, but not much information on what they used to be. Yes, there is. Blacksmith shop. Has changed slightly. Can't see much of the building. They ought to move some of this stuff out. A clue. An old machine on display, it's a nice touch. There's some detail here if you look. In the 1870s this was the white shop and the brass store. Another old machine there. Don't ask. Still lots of details of the old shop. Not that shop. Big crossbeam been taken out there. Don't know what that would have been, some sort of structural member. Well, they've been left in place, obviously part of the structure again. Lowered crane. That just about describes the building. Some wonderful brickwork in here. Lots of steel supports here, it's obviously heavy lifting stuff. Built on a grand scale. Well, it's not a full engine lift, but it's a lift just the same. So, run off the pillars. That's more like it. We're now in what's called the tank shop. Really heavyweight lifting gear. And one of the old original wooden beam ones. Right, with that shot of the old drawing office, that's it.